In-depth analysis and dissection of news that matters. It's today's News Surgery on the Cemtv Morning Pulse. Stay with us.
Good morning once again and welcome to Cemtv Morning Pulse. Of course, this is News Surgery, the time for us to get into the surgery room, pick up our scalpels and our surgery knives, and then begin to dissect the different news stories making it to the front pages of our national dailies, and particularly the news that are of critical importance to you as a Nigerian at this material time. Of course, I'm not alone, and I'm not forgetting. My name is Francis Oyima Aidet. I have with me Barrister. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning to you, Francis.
Yes, today's Children's Day. We've not forgotten. And just before we dig deeper into the conversation, somebody seems to share sentiments. Mrs. Ezekwali, or Dr. Ezekwali, has berated politicians across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, starting from the president to the local government councillors and chairmen. And she has said that they should not dare to bring up the political rhetorics and the press releases and congratulatory message of wishing Nigerian children, public holiday. And of course, I'd just like to briefly read something that she has stated in response to today's celebration by the Nigerian government, and of course talking about Nigerian children. Now, and according to her, and I read directly from her post on X, she said, at official Bola Ahmed Tinubu government, at official Nigerian government, at official national Nigeria, at official Nigerian Senate and Nigerian House, of course, Governors Forum and the Nigerian Governors Forum Secretariat, State Houses of Assembly, and the Nigerian political class of Nigeria at large. Do not dare wish our children Happy Children's Day today. To the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Vice President, the Governors of the 36 states, the Federal Executive Council, the members of the National Assembly, the State Houses of Assembly, and the entire political class that has captured and destroyed the Niger state. Do not dare open your mouths on May 27 to wish Nigerian children a Happy Children's Day. Do not dare release the recycled, ghost-written platitudes your media handlers have already drafted. Do not dare stand in front of cameras surrounded by carefully arranged children in marching outfits and uniforms to perform a tenderness you have never extended to the millions of Nigerian children you have abandoned, betrayed, and condemned to lives of suffering. You have no moral standing to wish anything to Nigerian children. None. Consider what you are dishonorably wishing them. You're wishing Happy Children's Day to the 39 students and 7 teachers seized only days ago on 15th of May 2026 from a secondary school. You're also wishing Children's Day to the 25 schoolgirls of the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School in Maga, Wasagu, Ndanko, Kebbi State, taken from their hostel at dawn on 18th of November 2025 after gunmen killed the vice principal, and most of whom are still missing as I write. You're wishing Happy Children's Day to 303 students and 12 teachers of St. Mary's Catholic Primary and Secondary School in Papri, Niger State, seized on 21st November 2025. Children aged 10 to 18, boys and girls whose abduction forced more than 20,000 Nigerian schools to close indefinitely. You're wishing Happy Children's Day to the 287 students of the government secondary schools in Kuriga, Kaduna State, taken by gunmen on motorcycles on March 7, 2024 in broad daylight, while you and your political colleagues pose for swearing-in photograph. You're wishing Happy Children's Day to the 15 children of Gidam Bakusa, Sokoto State, seized from their boarding school on 9 March 2024. And the list goes on and on and on and on. She added and concluded by saying, again, to President Bola Tinubu and the rest of his in Nigerian political class who have sworn to the covenant of watching unconcerned that our children are abducted and their teachers killed, be silent on this day. You have not earned the right to speak to our children today. End of quote. This is the message I preached this morning. This is a message that Nigerian politicians need to be recollected, or need to recollect and need to remember the 2027, 2026 Children's Day celebration for. And going forward, I don't think any government official should dare stand out to celebrate anything that has to do with Nigerian children.
Francis, I think the theme Children's Day should be cancelled from Nigeria, if you ask me, until we have our children back. Dated back to, if I remember, 14, right, of April 2024, when the Chibok girls were kidnapped. 276 schoolgirls from Government Girls Secondary School in Chibok, Borno State, Nigeria. Up till date, the 276 girls are not home complete. Allegedly, they'll say they're complete, but they're not complete. Since 2014 till date, it's been one school or the other. It's been different set of children, different set of teachers, especially children. But now it was girls. At then, it was 2014 was girls, but now the center on both boys and girls. And yet, every 27th May, you see one president, one governor will come and take salute from all. They send their delegates. What are we celebrating? What happened to those children that have been held captive for almost
It's a sad
7
narrative.
years? What happened to them?
It's a sad
How
narrative.
do they celebrate the parent of these children? How do they go ahead to smile that this is 20? I feel that, I mean, people in charge of constitutions should come set this and scrap this 27 May out, because it's not a joyous day in Nigeria.
Well, we're not going
It
to
is
see.
not.
We're not going to see anything being done about it. I mean, we're talking about the devils in sheep clothing who are in position of power. They are the ones who are supposed to make the necessary changes. But let's go into look into the character of those we call politicians, the character of those we call leaders. On the 23rd of May 2026, the All Progressive Congress, the almighty leading political party in Nigeria, courtesy of the president, who happens to be a member of that political party, conducted its presidential primaries election. And that came after the National Assembly and, of course, the governorship elections, which, of course, many have stated it was riddled with injustice and electoral fraud. Perhaps you will be the better judge of it when you watch the videos we're bringing to you, recorded from across the different parts of Nigeria during the just concluded presidential primaries election. A complete show of lack of morality, decency, and how decayed, or should we say, how corrupt the minds of the individuals who are governing us are. Let's take a watch.
Two candidates. One is my candidate, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The other man there, I don't know him. Only in Wakakam. So please, those who came to monitor this election, over to you. You can count.
Don't need to speak on it. Just like I know. Somebody can. All right, the counting is starting now. Number one, here. Number two. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11.
Nsukka local government area mayor, councillor. Onwere ihe na-etu ụtụ na-azọ n'okpukpe. O nwere ọkwa one advertise. We are going to start counting. APC, Okude nwere mmadụ, Okude nwere capacity. Okude okwuta alụka wọd. Daalụ n'o. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 21, 27,
Well, Barrister, I'll let you take the head.
This is appalling. I can't believe this, that Nigeria democracy is now a joke. Because how do you count from 1, 2, 9, 20,
1,000,
47, 1,000? How? And you were saying these political parties are credible and they are good to go. And Nigerians, with your clear eye, koro eye, you're voting for this same party. Oh my God. I can't believe this.
You know, sometimes when government agencies go after media organizations and broadcast journalists, it is a deliberate attempt to ensure that truth is stifled before the people get to hear. It is to ensure that people's eyes are not opened to the truth, the reality of what the few elites that are opportune to be in the corridors of power are doing. Now, that is the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu. And guess what he was doing? So, I mean, indirectly, the Speaker is telling us that he does not know how to count, or perhaps he has lost all decency. Because tell me, I mean, make it make sense to a child in primary 6, even, that a leader who sits to legislate over the laws governing 200 million plus Nigerians does not know how to count or will count and intentionally add numbers.
And Francis, but let me hold you there. You know the crazy part? The crazy part is that the people in line are happy. They're making a caricature of it because
these are their supporters.
They have something to gain at the end of the day.
These are supporters
you see the first
of the
person they
APC.
come out. Yes, you see the first person that they counted, give a high five to another guy, which means and the brown envelope, whether you like it or not, they have something to gain at the end of the day. And you, as Nigerians, your eyes, you can see, but you can't see. You're happy selling your votes for what? Ewedu, Gary, Yam, or what? How much is worth your life? How much is worth your vote, your power? Because if these politicians seems you're not necessary, they feel you are not necessary, they won't even come this way to offer you anything or to let you stand. But you have the power, but you're blind. For realities. Over what? You sell your votes for, let's say, 20,000 and you'll be slaving for 4 years, 8 years. Come on, how low can we go, Nigerians?
Well, it's not just about Nigerians at this point.
My.
First of all, let's start with the supporters of the APC. They are those who have benefited, reportedly, allegedly, to have benefited from the APC. But I know that as we sit, there are disgruntled members of the APC who fought vigorously, even had physical violence, went violent with their neighbors, with their brothers, with their, members of their communities over their support for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And from 2023, when he came into office till today, They have not received one kobo from any politician. They fought to ensure he manipulates his way into the corridors of power. A quick, backtrack down history just 3 years ago. Let's look at the numbers. And I'm going to bring these numbers up because just recently, on the 23rd, like we talked about, the APC had its primaries election. And at the end of the day, the total figure that the APC released to Nigerians is something that will leave you wondering what exactly is happening in this country. Now, at the end of the primaries election, as the APC finished and concluded, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was returned as the flag bearer of the All Progressive Congress. And while he was receiving, the party flag and declaring his stand, he said that he's receiving this flag on behalf of the people of the APC. And to show, I like to quote him directly. He said, "In accepting this nomination, I renew my commitment to serve our nation with even greater determination, with a sense of discipline, focus, and dedication." Now, the shocking thing that I like for us to see, if you go on the presidential villa, the State House website right now, you're going to see the subhead. President Bola Tinubu emerges as the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress with 11 million votes. 11 million. Now, that is the news headline. But when you read that news headline, you go down. The beginning, the first paragraph of the news says, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Sunday emerged the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, with a total of 10,999,162 votes, after the nationwide collation of results promising to consolidate economic reforms, secure progress, and strengthen the foundation of a modern Nigeria in his second term. That is the news body. Now, if you compare, for those of us who are mathematicians and who can add and subtract, the headline says 11 million. The body says 10,999,168 or 62. That means the headline is already adding an extra 838 votes
To make up 11
to
million.
make up 11 million for the president. 838 votes added in broad daylight. Now, let's go back to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the election of 2023. The statistics that came out at the end of the day when INEC announced its result. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu scored a total of 8,794,726 votes to emerge as the president-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, amounting to 36.61% of the total votes. Atiku Abubakar of the PDP as at then had 6,984,520 votes, amounting to 29%. Now, we had Peter Obi having 6,101,533 votes, amounting to 25.40%, and Rabiu Kwankwaso having 1,496,687 votes, amounting to 6.23%. Nigerians have begun to react. Now, if the total registration, according to APC, the total registration, if you look at the register of the APC during the last online validation and registration that they did, they released a total figure of about 12 million registered voters. Now, if the APC has a total of 12 million registered voters, and they're already telling us that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu got 11 million. That is plus the 800 plus vote that they have added for him. The question comes, if in broad daylight, like we've seen, you're counting and adding for yourselves, the elections have not even come. What is going to happen in 2027 general elections?
Francis, you saw the video, the clip where we were watching, where they were counting from number 1 to 100, 30, and all of that. This is to show that if this is the beginning, what will the end look like? Because talk to me, let's say he has 11 million votes. Okay, the 800, let's just keep it pending. 11 million votes. Doesn't mean that 11 million Nigerians are happy with this administration. Doesn't mean he has affected the life of 11 million Nigerians positively. Is it in infrastructure, health, security, agriculture, scarcity of food, petrol? Doesn't mean 11 million Nigerians are happy with Mr. President or the APC. When is a clear case of mago at the end of the day?
Well, the concern for me is not even about whether or not Nigerians are happy with his administration. The concern for me is, first off, if the APC has a total of 12 million, if you look at the details of the other candidates who contested, if we were to tally, it far exceeds the extra 1 million that is left under the registered voters of the APC. So clearly, we have 12 million registered voters,
Okay.
or registered party members, but we have more than 12 million voting during primaries. The extras, where did they come from? That's the first question I have
Wow.
for the APC this morning. The second question, is the APC suddenly telling Nigerians that despite the failure, the monumental failure of the Tinubu-led administration, that a lot more Nigerians, including members of the APC, which, by the way, we know many are not happy as we speak, have also voted for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that is one concern. But perhaps His Excellency Peter Obi was right when he stated that it is no longer business as usual, and it should
It's
not
no
be
longer
business
business as usual. It
That
is
we
not.
should not. And I wish I could get that video back when Peter Obi stated that in 2027, we as Nigerians should be the one to count, not INEC officials. Not party officials, not INEC officials, but Nigerians should count and tell the official and make the official write what has been counted on the field.
Do you think the government
Because
of the day will allow such?
it
to
is not
try?
about the government of the day. And I'm saying this to bring to this point and conclusion before we head into the next story. Clearly, the APC has shown us that they are not ready to abide by the rules. They're not ready to abide by the laws. They have shown us how morally bankrupt they are in terms of politics, in terms of, grabbing power. They have shown us that for 2027, it is a do or die affair, and they are willing to destroy everything morally right or morally justifiable, to defy every form of morality to get their hands on the presidency and every other seat that they are gunning for come 2027. Now the question comes, are we as Nigerians ready? Because take away the 12 million that they reportedly have, which they have shown us they clearly do not have,
They do not have.
and then take away the insignificant number of registered party members under the APC, we still have a total of, if you take about 12 million from 230 million approximately, you still have 218 million Nigerians.
Left.
INEC is yet to declare the total number of voters registered because their continuous voter registration is still ongoing. So we're going to have to hold on that conversation a little bit. But then, do you believe, at the end of the day, that the few loyalists of the APC, even if they have 12 million, can surpass the totality of the number of Nigerians who will be registered to vote? The biggest question we have to answer, Bariswa, between you and us, is, as a Nigerian, do you have your PVC? When you go out to vote on that day, will you be voting your conscience, or will you be voting because you've been given a bag of rice or some form of inducement that will not last you up to a week? And you return to your constant nagging, your constant griefing, your constant gnaying of teeth. Because, poverty is dealing with you. That's a question left for each and every one of us who has gotten to the age of voting and has, been able to arm ourselves with our PVC. You should ask and answer. But then let's go to INEC, the electoral umpire. I remember during the 2015 elections, Rubebe was on national TV when it was evident, that the INEC chairman was going to, perform magics on America Wonder, as we call it, and bring in somebody who had not won election, but for the humanity of President Goodluck Jonathan then. Nigerians were saved from the bloodbath that would have come. In 2023, we had an INEC chairman who went ahead and declared President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Peter Obi has insisted that he won the election, and many Nigerians insist that he won the election. But in the official circle, by the court declaration, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the election. Now we are gearing up for 2027. The provisions of the 2026 amended electoral act vests on the INEC as the electoral umpire to draw the timetable for elections for all the political parties to follow. But then, there are stipulated timelines and guidelines that must not be breached. Fortunately, INEC had released the election timetable, including giving a deadline for political parties to submit their register to the INEC. And shortly after that, the case was taken to court, and the court ruled that INEC, I like to read on one of the newspaper headlines, the way we had it this morning. Now, the court ruled that INEC timetable must align with the electoral act. What were the details of that ruling? It said, and I'll quote again, that this honorable court hereby declares that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is empowered by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and the Electoral Act 2026, to issue timetable for elections and to even alter same as it deems fit. However, the timetable must comply strictly with the time frames in the Electoral Act 2026. Now, this was a declaration that what INEC has done in terms of releasing the timetable goes against the provisions of the Electoral Act, the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But so as we speak, INEC is appealing that case. And Nigerians are saying we might not be surprised if another court and another judge sits to say, look, INEC is right in whatever it has done. Because it seems the Nigerian judiciary has been bought over by a few elite. And perhaps this is one way to also test whether that, assumption is true or false.
You know what my problem is that almost all the system has been corrupted. Be it the judiciary, the INEC, the government is even the leader of it to start with. So I won't be surprised if we see another court set aside to take rule over the INEC case in court. It won't be a new thing at all because Nigeria has always been that way. And I don't know when the change we so much aspire for will ever come our way, when all we do is just for enjoyment of today and sell our tomorrow into slavery. Seriously, I won't be surprised.
Well, it's a lot of things to take in, especially when you consider the fact that INEC as an electoral umpire is supposed to be non-partisan, unbiased, just, fair to all political parties. It takes my mind back to an allegation that has been issued against the INEC by the ADC. And it was stated that part of the things that the court had ruled for ADC activities to continue, INEC had refused to yield, despite pressures, despite moves. But 3 days after Peter Obi left the ADC and joined the NDC, without any pressure, without any legal tussle, INEC released what the court had ordered. The question is, do we have an electoral umpire in this country?
Or are
Or
they corrupt?
has INEC become an extended arm of the executive? Or should we say, a collection of the executive, the legislators, and the judiciary have ganged up to destroy the country called Nigeria? If that is the case, then we are finished in this country. And only the common man, waking up to the realization that the power in the hands of the elite few is nothing, is insignificant compared to the powers that we possess, the powers that we control as a collective. It is only then that we will be able to change the narrative in the country called Nigeria, and perhaps bring that narrative to changing the outcome of the 2027 general elections. That will now bear a new era for us as a people, an era where we can all keep our faces up, beat our chest to say, yes, we did something to give ourselves a better country. Over to our self story. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has stated that the dark days in Nigeria are over. Preach unity, hope, peace, togetherness in the spirit of the celebration. The question is that peace? And can there be peace when there is a miscarriage of justice? Can there ever be peace in Nigeria when terrorists, rapists, murderers, kidnappers, people who have sacked communities are treated as sacred cows, while those whose lives they have made miserable are left to fend for themselves? Perhaps the Nigerian government needs to be reminded the biblical story of Cain and Abel. That as long as the blood of innocent Nigerians continue to cry to God, one day we will wake up to an era of revenge, and it will be bloody. Some might call me the prophet of doom.
It might.
But think about that innocent child that has been made an orphan. And imagine that child deciding that he's not going to sit by the fence and watch the country fail him, and he's not going to fail himself. Imagine 1,000 of such children scattered across Nigeria coming together to form a terror organization, and their sole purpose is revenge. Can we stand the fury of such a movement as a country? Will we be able to defend ourselves against such a fury? Can the government of Nigeria stand? Sometimes we say things and it looks like you're trying to go against the government.
Or to incite fear.
Or to incite danger or violence. But we fail to look at the reality of what might be.
Francis,
because I know, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I know that these are things that will come. Barry, let's look at internal crisis and community or communal crisis over boundaries and disputes. What causes it? A child wakes up and comes up, oh, my father was killed because of this piece of land. This country or these communities have been peaceful for a while. It's time for me to avenge the death of my father. And he puts up 1, 2, 3 people together, and just one strike, and the community is thrown back into the same fight over and over and over again. It's just a matter of time before it becomes a national
Francis,
crisis.
I wanted to react. When you read a place where you said, the president says dark days are over, preach unity and hope. Is it because he's a Muslim? Or you just wanted to say the peace talk? Because make it make sense. Dark days are over. Or your state students are still in captive. There is poverty in the land. Insecurity has been the mother hen of the day, and we can't even do anything about it. So this speech is given, does it make sense? I think he would have just waved the normal way and just let it go, because saying he's bringing light, it's like living in darkness and someone is trying to bring a lantern when there is no kerosene to fuel the lantern. It doesn't add up at all. It doesn't add up in any way. I think it's high time Nigerians really stand up and do what is necessary. Just like you said, if a child wakes up and said, my dad was murdered because of this, and that is child A. There's another B. There's a C. Because when fight triggers, something triggers it, you get? There will be people that are fighting same cause, but they are not out in the open. They have a way of reconnecting. And if they do, it's going to be a bloodbath. Who will then save the nation? Because it will be from one religion to the another. Fighting, Christianity coming out with their guns and cutlass, and maybe even the chief priest, the Muslim do their own, the Niger Delta come back, and it's going to be a chaotic nation. There will be no place to hide. You know the funny thing? Because the elite thinks they have money. They can flee the country and do all of that. There will be a time where even the country you're running to, you will meet your end. They will send you back.
Well, Donald Trump has already made it crystal clear.
They will send you back.
You don't have to go back to your country.
And you will go back to your country and face that which you started.
It's a reality that we're not considering, or some of us who have the foresight might not be considering. But truth must be told. The innocent blood being shed in this country, in the words of our mother, Patient Jonathan, will hunt us someday. Might not be immediately, but when it comes, it will come like a volcano that nobody can withstand its stand. Of course, that's the much we can take on today's edition of Cemtv's News Surgery. A lot more conversations still will be coming your way at the subsequent edition of the program. But know this, as a country, we need to rise up. We need to fight. We need to get things right. Thank you very much, Barrister, for being part of the show this morning.
Thank you very much, Francis. Good to have you always.
It's always a pleasure being here with you. And yes, to you. See you again tomorrow, same time, same station. It's bye for now.